Good afternoon, everyone. It has been a while since I've done a keto grocery haul, and I just made a monster trip to the store to do a really big restock. So I thought it would be the perfect time to talk about keto friendly or low carb friendly foods, budgeting, and just some tips and ideas. So let me turn this around and I'll show you what I got. Hold on, where's the turnaround button? Here we go. Massive keto haul today, and I'll give you a couple of my tips that I use as well, but I'll talk about what I actually grabbed. First of all, let's talk about how much it costs. All the things. Here's all the things, and I've kind of arranged it by, as I unpacked the bags, I kind of grouped things together a little bit. But what I do, if you'll see my receipt here, I go off and mark off all the stuff that's like for my kids or like paper towels, things like that, diapers, I don't count that towards the actual bill because I also use that to stock up as well. And so when you take away all that, and I don't mess with tax or any of that because who really cares? My bill is more than it normally is, but that's because I also did a meat restock too, and I bought multiples of lots of things. So, under 135 bucks. We haven't been to the store in a while. So this was needed. And you'll see, like when I say multiples, I mean like, multiples. But let me show you what I grabbed and talk through a couple of things. So my first tip, and the thing that I always do, is I buy meat that's on sale. And there's a handful of things on sale today, and we have a lot in the freezer, but I like to buy large quantities of what's on sale, and then I freeze it. And some weeks, my grocery bill is cut in half from what you see there because I'm not even buying protein sometimes. So, today I only grabbed it. I don't eat a ton of steak, but, I like ground meat versus just like a filet or something. But the fillets happen to be on sale today. So I got 2 of those, 2 packs. This is my favorite bacon. It's this thick cut bacon. It's way better than the regular. Couple of kielbasas and a family pack of chicken. And now I know we already have a bunch of chicken in the freezer because when it's on sale for like $1.29 a pound, we completely stock up, but it's hard to pass it up when you know you're eventually going to eat it. Kielbasa, we love grilling these. The kids love them. They're picky, so we get these. But tip on this, don't overdo it because check it out. I don't know if you can see in here. There's 4 net carbs per serving, and the serving size in this thing, there's 7 servings in this. So it's pretty high in net carbs, so I keep this one pretty moderate when I actually do eat it. So that's the protein we use. And again, I don't even go in with a meal plan in mind at this point. I know early on it's easier for some people to have an actual plan and go in, but I just kind of go in and grab what's on sale or what I'm feeling at the time. So let me share some of the vegetables. A lot of people think that keto is all this and all this, or butter or whatever. But I mean, look at how much of my counter is fruits and vegetables. I'll talk about fruits in a minute, but vegetables are really good and required in a lot of ways on keto because you need that roughage, you need that fiber. I actually don't have a lot of green leafy vegetables here, which are the best, like kales and spinach and things like that. But I do have some other things. So get cucumbers for my salads. I'm always strong on the avocados, and I like to have lots of lettuce around. So my favorite lettuce is romaine because not only for salads, obviously, but I use it for boats. So like instead of eating a sandwich, eat a boat of whatever sort, a lettuce wrap. Think of it that way. I always have peppers for salads or for stuffing or for just sauteing them on the stove. Zucchini and squash. I got a handful extra zucchini this time because what I like to do is cut them this way. And then you take a spoon and you just scoop out the middle, like really scrape it, salt them heavily, bake them in the oven, and then stuff them kind of like you would with a pepper with, meat and cheese and whatever you do. I like to do it with like taco flavored meat, that kind of thing. So that's fun. An eggplant, and asparagus. So the other thing I like to do is chop up a bunch of veggies, like whatever I have, and just salt, pepper, olive oil, and roast them in the oven. So that's what a lot of times I do with zucchini, squash, onion, pepper, and eggplant. Some of my favorite things to do with that. Asparagus, same thing in the oven, just kind of drizzle it with olive oil, salt, and pepper. And I put a little lemon in there, and that's it, and it's wonderful. And I like to make it with this. This is something I froze. I think we have a couple of these, but this is one of my mini freezers. I got a deep freezer outside. But this Mediterranean salmon is excellent. I'm just gonna thaw it and put it in the oven and bake it. Super simple. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you. Riced cauliflower. You can do this yourself with a food processor, but I will any day pay for convenience because I don't know if y'all know it, but I've got 2 small boys and they're a handful, and I have a full-time job and a life, and so it's crazy, and so I'll pay for convenience if I need to, if I have the option. And so they rice up the cauliflower. If you've never had riced cauliflower, it's really good, and it allows for a lot of seasoning. The way that I like to cook it is saute it on the stove with some butter or olive oil, add in some onions or other vegetables like diced up really tiny. And you can add a little soy or a sugar-free teriyaki, something like that to flavor it up. So it's wonderful. So let's talk about fruit. You'll see I got a bunch of fruit here, but it's all berries. There's a reason for that, and that's because berries are the lowest on the glycemic index, meaning they have the fewest number of net carbs. Still need to, keep it moderate. Pay attention to how much you're eating. You can't eat this whole bucket of strawberries like every single day because those carbs will add up if you're trying to go very low carb. But these are my favorites. I personally don't like raspberries, but my kids and husband love them. But strawberries, blackberries, and blueberries are staples in my house. And what I personally like to do with them is either have them with a little bit of whipped cream as a sweet type of dessert, or every once in a while, you'll see I got this yogurt back here. This is my favorite yogurt because it's not tangy and it's creamy, and it's got, 5 net carbs, just a little high. You got to just pay attention. It's low for yogurt, but I'll put a couple of cut up strawberries and a handful of blueberries and a blob of almond butter in there, and that's a yummy breakfasty type treat for me. So that's what I like to do with berries. Couple of other things. So you see, I like to buy large quantities of things to stock up, and I really love this dressing. It's 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons is 2 net carbs, which that's the serving, and it's a Chipotle ranch. I'm obsessed, my husband's obsessed, and so I always stock up and have extras of stuff sitting around because when I run out, I don't want to have to go out to the store. Let's see what else. So salsas. This is from Lidl, you guys. That's where I like to shop. I don't know if you have one near you. This is just like Jack's salsa. Jack's is my favorite pre-made salsa. It tastes just like it, more than or less than half the price. Awesome. Have not tried this one, but I'm excited about it. It's a salsa verde that looks excellent, and check it out. 2 net carbs per serving. So it's about the same as, actually, what is this one? Same. 2 net carbs, so that's good. Yummy. I do like almond butter. People like almond butter and peanut butter. And again, this is moderation because you got to pay attention to the net carbs scenario here. So you got 7 carbs, 3 fiber. So if you don't know how to calculate net carbs, you subtract the fiber from the carbs. It's 4 net carbs per 2 tablespoons. Just keep that in mind. I like this chunky, oily almond butter. And then on dairy, let's talk about dairy for a minute. Some people with the ketogenic diet or low carb diet, I mean, it's good to have cheese. Cheese it's a thumbs up food. A lot of them have low to no carbs, but for some people, dairy can cause inflammation. So I urge you to consider removing dairy from your diet for a little bit if you find that you still feel kind of bloaty or like your progress is slow. Sometimes dairy is the issue. So a couple of things to think about here. So the best type of cheese to get is the block cheese, and shred it yourself. I know I got shredded here, but again, I told you I pay for convenience sometimes. But the reason is the block cheese is typically just cheese. You can see it's less than 1 carb. When you look at the ingredients, it's very specific about what it is. Basically just cheese. Shredded cheese, sometimes you'll see here, check this out, and this is why labels are important. anti-caking blend, and this is because they want it to stay shredded and not goop up. This is why it's better to shred your own versus do this, because you've got potato starch, corn starch, some other stuff, mold inhibitor. What is that? But you'll also see you've got 1 carb per quarter of cup. If I would have gotten a block of mozzarella and shredded it myself, probably going to be a 0. So keep that in mind. That's one of my big tips, is shred your own cheese. And at the same time, I bought shredded cheese, and the reason is I use this little monster over here often now, and I taught my husband how to do it last night, and he made his own finally to make chaffles. This is actually a panini one. But you can make chaffles or a cheesy, eggy sandwich bread type stuff. It's easier just to have it already done. Again, I pay for convenience sometimes. Okay, a couple more things. This is important also, to read your labels. So whipped cream is amazing, and I use it almost as my ice cream sometimes. The best way to make whipped cream is to get a heavy whipping cream and just use a hand mixer or a big giant standing one and whip it into fresh whipped cream. Pay attention to your labels, because heavy whipping cream, this is, you can see down here, 0 carbs. That's awesome. Definitely some calories in that 1 tablespoon, so pay attention to that, because calories do matter. But you got a 0 net carb product here. I like to also add a dash of vanilla extract. And, I don't add sweetener to mine, but some people will add like erythritol or swerve or something as they make the whipped cream. This is the convenience play. My husband loves this one, but read your labels on your pre-made whipped cream cans. This is my favorite. It's extra creamy and yummy, made with real cream. But if you look on the back, 1 net carb per 2 tablespoons. So it's just like the cheese. You're adding some extra ingredients. Where's the ingredients? It's hard to look through this lens of my phone. And it's got maltodextrin in it. So it's got some extra, some extra stuff in there, carrageenan in it, to make it work in this can. This is your best bet, and it's super easy. You don't have to be a baker to make your own fresh whipped cream. And you definitely shouldn't do it with a whisk, because it's going to take you forever. Now, last but not least, are you tired of me talking yet? Drinks. So I don't care for these drinks. To me, these are just like LaCroix, and it's like the Lidl brands. Of course, it's less money. And if they go on sale, I really stock up. But these are my husband's favorite, lime and grapefruit. And so he likes to have these in stock. We're totally out. And so I bought some of those for him. These are sparkling waters. So let me bring you over here. I'm guessing they've got a label on them. This is 0 net carbs. Oh, here you go. It's just sparkling water with some flavor. Carbonated water, natural flavor. Don't know what that means, but it's a thing. Sparkling water. And then I included this because I do still drink alcohol. Some people following the ketogenic diet do not. And I grabbed 2 of them. They were on a special sale. And I looked this up on Vivino, the app, before I bought it, because I've never tried it. And everybody's saying it's got this lemony finish at the end, and that it's really good and a good value for the price. And these were really on sale. They were like $7.99. So I'm trying these. Wine is typically lower in carbs than some of the other things out there. I'd say for a sparkling, it can be anywhere from like 1 or 2 to 5 net carbs per serving. So just keep that in mind as you're drinking alcohol. Additionally, if you're drinking a lot of it, even if it's 0 carbs, even if you're drinking straight vodka, it's going to kick you out of ketosis, because when you're consuming alcohol, your body is going to use the calories and the energy from what you're consuming from an alcohol perspective before everything else, and it's going to kick you out of ketosis. So keep that in mind, even if you're drinking 0 carb alcohol. Cool. So that's what I've got. And actually, I was just going to show you guys, when I say stock up on stuff, even my kids' stuff is majorly stuffed. Like, this is pouches. It's the only way I can get my kids to eat vegetables. I'm one of those moms. I mean, look at the quantity of bars over there. These all go to daycare. And just like you prep for yourself for school and stuff, the beginning of the week, I pre-pack and label all of the things that can be labeled. I've even, again, paying for the convenience, and I know it's not the best idea, but instead of like making their own milks, I send these, and I send I've got one son who's lactose intolerant, so he can only drink certain things, and then you can't have nuts in the school, so it's like, it's a whole process. And so sending them both with chocolate, coconut milk is what I do. But anyway, in case you were wondering, prepping is super important. I'm turning it back around on me. Prepping super important with keto, especially if you're away from the house a lot, you have a full-time job, you're doing stuff, being prepared, chopping up stuff and having it ready, it's key. So all of this stuff at some point, like today or tomorrow, I'm going to spend some time. I usually do this on weekends, but I was gone this weekend. And I'm going to make a bunch of stuff to have ready to go, because my fridge right now, check it out, doesn't look good. I've got some eggs and some leftovers, and I've eaten a bunch of leftovers, but it's like, that's cabbage steaks. But dude, it's pretty sparse in there. The drawers, it's empty. So anyway, I'll do another one on prepping food later, but I hope you guys enjoyed. This is a massive restock again. It was under $135, so keto is not expensive, and it doesn't have to be, especially if you're smart about it. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and let me know in the comments if you got any tips that I didn't share with you that I should have shared. See you later.